Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I'm Kinda Stip and this is going to be another army composition video here as the Almohads. In this video I will be covering the mid-game army comps. Specifically I'm going to be covering the tier 2 and tier 3 army compositions. And if you did miss the first video which covered the tier 1, just so you know, these naming conventions are more so for as a way for me to organize these videos. It's not so much for the specific actual early, mid, and late games. I'm just doing it so that I can actually, organize these videos in a certain way. So, as I mentioned in the last video, I did cover the tier 1 units, and I made an army composition for the Almohads that is somewhat functional, right? And that was helped out by the fact that the Catholic army composition that I went up against, the Catholics typically don't have a lot as a tier 1, so it was kind of a tough fight for them. Now in this case, it's going to be a bit of a more even fight, just because the Catholics, as everyone's roster just gets better with tier 2, so does the Catholics. So when we look at their French army roster here, as you can see, this is a pretty decent hard-nosed tier 2 army. Mounted Sergeants, which is a solid medium cav, Feudal Sergeants, a solid spear, Feudal Men-at-Arms, solid swordsmen, basic archers, and then Militia Sergeants, which is an upgrade to the Urban Militia. So these are going to be a bonus versus armor troops. And yeah, they're solid. Now to counter that French build, I find that anytime you're going up against like a really heavy metal, melee focused rush type of build, I've never found any success in going skirmish heavy. It just seems like the skirmishers never tend to be able to do enough damage to be able to defend to justify their presence, really. Like the archers, whether it's crossbows, archers, grenade throwers, artillery, whatever it is, like the melee really does seem to matter more so in this game. Like whereas in Shogun you could really do a lot with your skirmishers. But in this game, if you try to go skirmish heavy, I just tend to, I get bullied, just flat out. If you can't defend all of your guys, then they're not going to be able to justify their cost. And so if I'm going to go up against this heavy metal army of, spears, swords, pole arms, which even though looks like they have pole arms, they don't really have the pole arm advantage. In this game, the polearms give +3 attack and +1 defense. I think it's against cavalry. I think so, but then they also have the bonus versus armor. This weapon doesn't count as a polearm, even though if you look at it, it is. It just has a bonus versus armor for the militia sergeants. But, so if we're going to be stopping that melee rush, basically, from the French, we have to go melee rush ourselves. So I still want to use Berber camels because they are a tier 2 unit, they're fun to use, they're interesting, but that means that we're going to have to forego the Saharan cavalry just so that we can get enough infantry in to actually be able to hold back the enemy. One idea is to not bring desert archers. That's an idea here, but I'm thinking about going Nubians and then Almohad Urban Militia, which is going to be my sword unit, which I do get a +1 Valor bonus in Granada, so let's do that. And they are about as good as Feudal Men-at-Arms, just about. So let's do that, and then let's see, do I want to do Desert Archers, or do I want to do something else? Yeah, let's go ahead and get some Desert Archers, and then what I'm thinking as well, God, I don't like how when you put Valor on units, it just gives it to the rest of the units in the army. That's just another thing about custom battles in this game that annoy me. How about these Almohad foot soldiers? So this is a good spear unit that doesn't have 100 men in it, unlike most spear units. So it's not really meant for holding the line, more so that this is actually like an attacking spear unit. It's not so much that it has insane attack values, but it's a really good charge bonus. And of course it does have a bonus versus cav as well. So it's a really good unit to pair with cavalry. And what I'm thinking about doing with this is maybe trying to use the Berber camels to bait the French mounted sergeants into an engagement that it doesn't want, and then going ahead and killing those mounted sergeants with the Almohads, and then going on and yeah, having the run of the backfield basically. So that's going to be the idea there. Let's see if I can pull it off. I am now all set up with my spears in front, archers in the back, swords in reserve, with my general, and then my camels and my Almohads on my right flank. So let's just dive on in, and then let's further set my guys up. Let's go with spears in front, like that. And then swords. General, post up. And then, what's the dealio over here? So it looks like they got mounted sergeants on that side, just the one unit. Okay, okay. And then they have the 2 mounted sergeants on that side. Let's see here. It's tempting to pick off that one single unit that's on its lonesome. Yeah, that's the temptation. So let's see if I can pull this off. Let's go here. And try to split them off wide so that they aren't getting support from the infantry block. Of course, that kind of makes me vulnerable when it comes to my infantry. But if my infantry can hold out long enough so that I can win here on the flank, and yeah, hopefully they can. Let's see here. I want to get swords out on the flanks just to be able to make myself a bit wider. And how are we looking here? We can start shooting at these mounted sergeants and try to draw them towards us. If we can get them to attack our Berber camels. Come on, come on, you know you want it. You know you want it. And then what else do they have there? Militia sergeants? Okay. And let's go. Go, go, gadget. Almohads. And do they want that fight? Do they want that fight? Yeah, I mean, they think they do, but they don't. They're making a mistake, but they don't know it yet. So let's get camels up here, and then camels down here. And it says that we're evenly matched. That's weird. I feel like we should be just butchering them. But yep, let's just get up here, and let's get up here. And they're bringing down feudal sergeants on that side, and then camels over here can pull off. And then... Why are there militia It says they're losing... Okay, so they're just bringing more dudes in. That's fine. We can just shoot into this blob right here, and just shoot right there. And yeah, just get some rear shots. And gosh, it's tempting. We can just get our break. I mean, we have good combat. So there we go. Now they're running away. Okay. So yeah, now try to just go into there and get them. Just nope. Just go into there, please. Go in there. Go into the rear of those guys. And then, yeah, you guys get a charge here on the feudal sergeants. And then, ooh, we got charge on this side. Okay. So let's try to come over here with my swords. And then let's just come over here with my general as well. And what are you shooting at? You're shooting at that. Okay. And then you guys actually... Yeah, getting a rear charge into infantry is kind of weird with camels, but this might be the way to go. And we're breaking them on that side. Looks like we are. Perfect. And then you guys get into the flanks there. Okay. And then General get into here. Yeah, General help out. And then what are you doing? I want you... Yeah, you shoot. That's fine. And you get into the flank. Perfect. Perfect. I like to see that. And... Camels, looks like, okay, yeah, we're breaking them on that side. Yeah, camels are doing okay. And yeah, mounted sergeants feel like they want to go after my camels, but they're like not too sure about it. They're kind of sketched out. They're like a little, they don't know what to do. So let's just let our camels shoot here and here, and then let's let our infantry continue to wrap up. Let's get spears to go in, and we're breaking them on this side. Nice, nice. Yeah, that feels good. That feels good. Now spears turn in here and help out against these feudal men-at-arms. And there we go. That's a good break as well. And looks like the general's fleeing. So let's go ahead and... Almohads go into the feudal sergeants here and here. Yeah, Almohads got beaten up. Man, they got pretty chewed up a little bit. But looks like... Ooh, can we catch the king? Can we catch the king with our camels? There we go. That's actually not a bad fight for us considering how damaged he is. Yeah, we got the enemy general, and feudal sergeants are now running away, and that ended up being okay for us. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not saying it was the easiest battle in the world, but yeah, I mean, that French army was solid, so we were able to do well against it, even without having like a dedicated melee cav. You know, our camels were solid, I feel like. And I'm curious to see their kills at the end of this battle. That's gonna do it. And honestly, the roughest part about using those camels during that battle was during the routing phase, just because they're not as fast as Saharan cav, so they weren't as efficient at getting the job done. But here we are. Bodyguards got 1 point of valor. They only killed 2 guys, but they captured 131. Yeah, all right, that'll do it. Berber camels, only 7 kills, 36 captured, and then 26 kills on that unit with 16 captured. And 20 kills with 27 captured. Yeah, it's solid. Nothing, you know, crazy or fancy or anything like that, but it's solid. Nubian Spears, 19, 20, and 19. Almohad Urban Militia, yeah, these guys carried 41, 40, and 52. And Desert Archers, yeah, see, man, using, like, skirmishers or archers in this game, if the enemy just rushes you, you do not get the value back. It is just rough. Yeah, 6, 8, and 14, pretty rough. Almohad foot soldiers, 18, 20, and 28. Yeah, they did pretty solid, but they lost a lot of guys as well. But they won that flank engagement for me on that right side there, so they did okay. Now it's time to cover a tier 3 matchup in this game. And as you continue to fight Catholics, and as they continue to tech up, the matchup can get tougher and tougher for the Almohads, just because their roster tends to not keep up as well. Now, if you're fighting in the desert, that's one thing, just because the Catholics tend to rely on a lot of armor, and you can kind of drag them through the mud and the sand in the desert. But if you're going to be invading into Europe itself, you're going to be fighting them on their ground. Camels, for instance, don't get an advantage when they're fighting in the European territories. They do get an advantage, a +1 to their attack in desert, and it's neutral and arid territory, which is what we're going to be fighting on. And then it's -1 to their attack, anything that's temperate or lush. So it gets tougher to use those units. However, at tier 3, we do have access to our Ghulam Cavalry, which is going to be our main heavy cav that's available to us as the Almohads. It's not a great unit, but it's a solid heavy cav that you can use to sort of stop the Catholic heavy cav and hold them in place long enough for your support to come in. And what is our support going to be? Well, we already saw it in action in the last battle with the Almohad foot soldiers. They're going to be helping us win these cav engagements that the Catholics could otherwise just overpower us in. And then speaking of overpowering us in, if we continue to look at the rest of their roster here, I'm giving them some mounted crossbows because the Germans have access to some mounted crossbows, which is it's a solid unit. And then chivalric men-at-arms, which is way better than our Almohad urban militia, so we don't have any swords that can counter that. Chivalric sergeants, which is a really chunky spear unit, as you can tell. They just got a big-ass shield, and they're heavily armored. And then crossbows. Now, man, continuing my beef with the custom battles setup in this game, this is very weird to me. So they saved the arbalesters for the late game, so this is on like the high period custom battle setup. And all we have access to is the crossbows and the Bavis crossbows, not the arbalesters or the Bavis arbalesters, which is funny because arbalesters are available at the same tier 3, as the Bavis crossbows are, but they're not here. They're being saved for the late game custom battle setup screen, so we don't have access to those. So I gave the Germans some basic crossbows. We're going to be pretending like we're in the high period now for this battle. Why not? And yeah, I wanted to give myself crossbows, but instead I gave myself the Faris, which is a tier 3 unit for the Almohads. This is going to be our horse archer unit. And yeah, it takes until tier 3 until you get a real horse archer that's not a camel archer. And the Faris are solid. They're basically like a melee cav, or I'm sorry, melee. They're basically like a hybrid cav. They can shoot with their bows. As you can tell, they do have shields, and they can fight in melee as well. They're not super strong in melee, but they're solid. And the thing is if I'm going to be countering the melee rush of the Catholics, I have to be able to stop their swords, their chivalric men-at-arms, in addition to their feudal knights, which is, better than my Ghulam Cav. I have to be able to stop those units. So I'm going a little bit melee heavy myself. The Faris will be my only skirmishing contingent, and then I'm backing them up with my Muahid foot soldiers, which we have seen before, my Almohad urban militia with their +1 valor, just to give themselves a little bit of that edge, you know, as much of it as I can. And then militia sergeants, and this is a bit unique for the Almohads, just because they're the only faction that can't actually have this unit available to them, and God, that's so annoying. Don't want you guys to have valor, no. Just the Almohad urban militia and the general, yes. So yes, militia sergeants, the Turks and the Egyptians don't have access to these units, just the Almohads and every other Catholic faction. And yeah, they have a little bit of armor on them. Now, you might be wondering, as the Almohads, why am I not using the Ghazis? Don't worry, I'm saving them for later. They're a fantastic armor-piercing unit, and I love using them. And you could use them. They're tier 2. You can use them whenever you want. Don't listen to me. You can do whatever you want here. But I'm going to be using the militia sergeants because, guess what? Well, this army comp that I gave the Germans, they have no units here that have a bonus versus armor. And even though the militia sergeants don't have like an insane armor, they have some. I think their armor value is 3, I think. So yeah, their bonus versus armor, which can do well against, you know, the heavily armored units of the chivalric men-at-arms and the chivalric sergeants. That's kind of where I'm going with that. Or the feudal knights, you know, they're kind of a jack of all trades. So we are going to see how we do here. Man, I'll tell you, it just feels weird not having foot archers in an army comp. It just is a weird feeling. But here we are, Almohad urban militia on that side, militia sergeants right there, Ghulam Cav, Faris, and then the Muahids right there, the general. So let's see how we do here. So what is their formation? So they got mounted crossbows on that side, and ooh, they went really cav heavy on that side. So 2 mounted crossbows. Where's all their feudal knights? Just right. Okay, it's kind of central with their feudal knights. Interesting. Kind of central. Well, kind of tempted. What are they doing? Mounted crossbows look like they want to switch sides. Let's just mirror them with our Faris then. Now these mounted crossbows seem like they want to tangle with us. Do they have a range advantage on us? Ooh, that'd be really annoying. I didn't think that they would, but the fact that they're just kind of posting up there kind of makes me think like they're about to start shooting at me. So let's not let them get some free shots on us. And if anything, if we could draw them forward, that would be nice. I kind of doubt it. So there we go. Volume of fire. We should start doing some damage versus their mounted crossbows. And sure, they'll get some return fire. They've already killed 2 of our guys, but we've already killed almost 10 of theirs. And which one are they shooting? Shooting you? Alright, let's put you in loose formation so you take less casualties. And we'll take this. We'll take this. Yeah, if we can heavily damage one of their mounted crossbow units. I don't know why they're being so, I don't know, nervous with their main army. Because I feel like, you know, the army is pretty strong, so I don't know why they're being so, I don't know, dancing around me, which is kind of weird. Now we can start getting our cav back here, because we're starting to get approached by the rest of the armies. Let's get back here, and then here, and what are you guys doing? So we got some mounted crossbows on that side. You guys are right there, okay? So yeah, you guys just pull back a little bit. And what's the deal over here? So 2 mounted crossbows, chivalric men-at-arms, so that's swords and light cav. That's interesting. So no spears on that side. The side that has my heaviest cavalry isn't being guarded by spears. Oh, you guys aren't facing the right way. How about you face the right way? How about you do that? Chivalric men-at-arms. Yeah, I feel like I want to chase. Like pretend to chase here. Even though I'm not really. And then let's go here with my militia sergeants against their chivalric men-at-arms. Here. And let's get you guys back. Then yeah, you guys can back. And you guys get over here. And, oh, you guys got caught. Okay, I didn't mean for you guys to get caught. And here you go. Here you go. Oop, oop. Feudal Knights coming on in. So let's go here up against the Knights. And then you guys go there. And then you guys turn around to go after those swords. And let's go here. And, ooh, they got the charge on us here. Yeah, let's go here against those chivalric dudes. And then you guys actually get a rear charge in there. Because, I mean, these Faries can fight. So yeah, you guys go there and they're there. And then, yeah, Almohad should be fighting. Yeah. Let's go here, and looks like their chivalric. It looks like their swords are losing in that fight, and we might be able to. I guess they're breaking. Oh, those are feudal knights. That's why. Okay. That's why. So, can we get a charge here? And their feudal knights are charged into my guys. Yeah. Yeah, let's shoot there, and let's actually get a charge here with my chivalric dudes. And then, I don't want to get my general in, but it's not a good fight for us, but we'll see what we can do. And feudal knights are just cleaning us up, aren't they? Yeah, looks like it. And they're shooting into my rear on that side with those crossbows. That doesn't feel good either. Ugh, yay. Alright, we got a break in the center. That feels good. That feels good. Let's see. Can we... So the enemy general's fleeing. And let's go here and then here and try to get these feudal knights. God damn it, come on. This little sign's in my way. It's really annoying. And there we go. So feudal knights are still cutting us down on that side. Looks like Almohads really like carry the day. The Almohad Urban Militia. Yeah, let's try to charge in here and cut down these feudal knights because they're still very strong. Right there. And even though we got a break here, I'm not convinced that this fight's over. So we have to stay disciplined, I think. Because yeah, those mounted crossbows are running free on that side. So there's still units. They have still pockets of strength here. Yeah, Almohads get in the fight. Let's see, they're running away. Militia sergeants come up here as well. And chivalric men-at-arms? Yeah, break these chivalric men-at-arms, please. And then keep chasing here. And those are chivalric men-at-arms as well. Let's get my Almohads against them. Yeah, run down these crossbows on this side. Let's see, generals running down chivalric men-at-arms. That feels good. And let's get that guy. All right, man, that was tight. That was tight. That felt like it was going well on one side of the battle and going very poorly on the other side of the battle. So, yeah, I feel like it might have worked. We might have pulled this one off. There we go. That is the victory. Yeah, that one didn't feel that convincing. I don't know. That one felt pretty tight, I will say. But there we go. That's the victory. And Gulan Bodyguards got 18 kills. Yeah, 88 captured. Faries 30 kills, 81 captured. And then 19 kills, 101 captured for that unit. Almohad Foot Soldiers 14, 19, and 17. Almohad Urban Militia again carried the battle 34, 28, and 20. Militia Sergeants 19 and 8. Gulam Cav 19, 6, and 15. And then Faries 24 and Militia Sergeants 14. So yeah, pretty well balanced all around, and we were able to hold off their melee rush, and that's even with me making mistakes. So you can see that this army composition does have some teeth. Now, I still would be very tempted to see if I could try to fit some foot-based skirmishers in this army comp, and I feel like you probably can in campaign against the AI. A lot of times, they will be bringing armies that aren't as melee-focused as the one that I just brought for the Germans. So there's going to be chances to do that, where if you look across you and you see maybe only 6 melee infantry units rather than 9, and then you can go, okay, now I can bring some crossbows rather than having to match them like this. But I just find that in my experience, when I try to match a heavy infantry with, say, like a light cav / light infantry build, it just gets run over every single time. I just have not been able to make that work. But if you have, I would love to hear your army composition ideas, especially for the Almohads in this instance, because I'm going to be keeping this going for the other factions going forward. But before I'm finished, I do still have one more video to make for the Almohads where I cover my tier 4s and tier 5s. And yeah, it's going to get rough because the Almohads just really, they don't get much in those tiers. So it's going to be more about what they can do against higher tier Catholic armies when we get to that point. So until next time, this has been Concept playing Medieval Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.